Hey traders, hope you're having a good Sunday. Wanted to mix it up, not doing so much of a real-time analysis as we will go tripping through time, since this gets asked so abundantly in live streams just all the time, man. Can you compare Bitcoin from 2013 to 2015 to now, man? Please, can you do that over and over and over? I get that question, and we've done, I've done this analysis like 20 times, but might as well just make it into a static video since it's good. It's good to go back and look at history, but you also got to remember, dude, history like this right here has nothing to do with what Bitcoin's doing, okay, or what Bitcoin was gonna do. All right, so I mean, up until recently, actually, Bitcoin did look pretty freaking similar to this price action in the past, but that's all changed in the past, I don't know, month and a half. Okay, so what happened November 2013, we hit a high of 1170. We sold off in the matter of a year, 13 months. We fell all the way down to $169, $158, something like that. All right, so you lost almost all your value in the matter of a year or so. But then something happened. You started normalizing a little bit on your selling, so we had like a good anchor point, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, and then we had a 6, 7, 8. And really, you had 1 on the bottom side. That's the same way we had it on our chart way up, currently. All right, the whole downtrend we had for 2018. This is like 1 wick was the touch, but then we got all kinds of beautiful touch points within. Oh, it was nice, man. But then something happened, right? After a year, we went sideways and we broke out. But so at the time, it didn't seem that significant, right? But we never saw these lows again. We never saw $150, $270 again, right? We created ourselves an inner range, right? As you can see, this was an 8 to 10 month. Yeah, this was like 10 months, okay, where it started and where it ended. Okay, the range that we were in, we were contained within it. I mean, like, we ran up, hit a resistance. So to me, this seems like for Bitcoin, this area would have been like the equivalent of like 5,800 for Bitcoin, right? 345 or whatever, because that's where you started facing those resistance points. And it did make me think a little bit, hey, 5,800 might have been a stronger resistance, right? Just because, like, if you look at history, look what happened, man. We just could never break it. We had a false breakout, double top, sold off, just kept hitting the same bottom. But something did happen. We got an immense amount of buying pressure that came in, stupid amounts of volume, huge buying climax, manifested immediately into an automatic reaction where we sold off. But when we sold off hardcore, all we did was back test the area that was once a strong resistance, overhead resistance was created as support. And from that moment on, we then created something that you might be familiar with now, if you weren't before, the beautiful ascending triangle. But let's not get ahead of ourselves and be like, oh my God, it's the same thing Bitcoin's doing right now. This pattern lasted for like 5 to 6 months, man. Okay, compared to our scrubby ascending triangle now that's only been in development for like 13 days, maybe 2 weeks max, if you want to call it that. So 5 to 6 months versus what we have now, which is nothing. Okay, so this was a huge pattern. A ton of accumulation occurred over and over and over, higher lows, but with one sell wall up, right? You just couldn't break it until the end, till the very end. We were like 95% of the way through the development of the pattern. And then we were off, man, right? What the psychology of the ascending triangle, I've been over it a billion times now, right? Someone suppressing the price. They could just be trying to get in themselves, keeping the price down long enough. But eventually something happens where that sell wall, all the orders get filled, and there's no more supply at this price. There's only supply at much higher prices, and exactly what happened. Look, measure move easily hit. We exceeded the measure move of this huge pattern. I mean, think about it. $295 on the bottom, and then $470 on the top. Jeez, man, huge pattern. So from there, that was it, man. This pattern ushered in the beginning of one of the greatest bull runs the world's ever seen, okay? Where we went from 458 all the way to almost $20,000 off this one pattern. Because that's where it all ended, man. Right, 20K. Just kept on going, almost straight line up. And here we are. Right, same type of equidistant channel. You can't use the crazy FOMO chop. There were a lot more here than there was back in 2013. All right, makes sense, right? More people getting in on it, whatever. So why it's different is because this area in 2013 that we did respect, we did not respect it at all this time around, right? Where you had that underhand resistance, right? I guess whatever you want to call it. It's just a simple, pure resistance, right? 5,800, 6,000. And we broke through all of it, even the overhead resistance above it, man. All right, but here we are, all right at 8,500, the overhead resistance we've been talking about for a couple weeks now. God, my bad. I don't even have a variation, an overlay on this scene. It doesn't even make sense why that should even play. All right, sorry. So here, you notice the ascending triangle we have on the daily back there, so easily discernible, but not very discernible on the daily. It's a very small pattern compared to what we saw. So that's what I'm saying, man. Like, history does not repeat itself. If it did, we would have stalled probably at 5,800 to 6,000 and then sold off and been range bound for 8 months. Okay, 8 to 10 months. And then we would have created a ascending triangle way over here, maybe the beginning of 2020. But clearly, that's not the case. We went much higher. So just wanted to show you, it kind of looked similar, to 2013, 2014, 2015, but not since this latest price action. So we'll see if this ascending triangle actually turns into anything significant. Currently right now, we did pop to the upside, 81.32. That's great, man. Good news that we're running on up again. I guess we could look at it since there's actual movement. What? Oh, on the 4 hour, the ascending triangle looks beautiful, doesn't it? So yeah, pivots it off the 20 moving average. Go figure. I think you bullishly engulfed too. And now you're rallying back up to that critical resistance. We've just been failing to break a decent amount of times. 81.50, man. All right, I kind of wrote it off, but it's definitely there. But if you can break that, man, 8,200, and then of course 8,300 is the big one. But see, the thing is, there's a sell wall here. But what's going to happen? Is it just going to be like if we broke the ascending triangle, we're just going to disregard like the overhead resistance above it? I guess this is a stronger resistance than up here, so maybe it makes more sense. Looking at a 4 hour, I normally just look at this on the daily. It looks like way more resistance here than up here. So maybe that's why we're stalling. But I'm just thinking, man, if you break this sell wall up here, man, there's just probably not going to be any supply left at this price, and there will only be supply at way higher prices. So, it just looks like it's poised to break the upside, but nothing's a certain thing on these markets at all. Remember that. It's all about probabilities, not certainties. So don't let anyone who's telling you something certainly is happening, don't let them mess with your mind, because nothing's certain. All right, so look, if you enjoyed this little I guess history lesson, hit that like button, that bell, that sub. Please leave a comment in the description below, or whatever it is. I go live 6 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Eastern for the most part every day, so check me out if you're new. All right, until next time, respect the TA.